Hey everybody, Jeff Reinhart here, LMP and Lancaster Online. LL League Football. It's week 3. It's the Huddle podcast. It's sponsored by Auto House of Lancaster. We're picking up steam, gang. Post Labor Day, everybody's back in school, and there's a lot of football going on. There's the week 3 card, 25 games. There was originally 26, but midweek here, Fairfield out of York Adams canceled their game against Hamburg. Second time in 3 years that the Knights opted out of that game. They have some low numbers. They have some injuries. They're 0-2, and they've been outscored 144-0. So they said, no thank you. So no Fairfield at Hamburg. Cross it off. Hamburg at midweek was looking for an opponent for this weekend. York Catholic also had a game canceled. So York Catholic and Hamburg are both available. We'll see if they play. Stay tuned. As of right now, 25 games. So a lot going on. 2 on Thursday, 23 on Friday as I sit. Nuggets and picks. Are you ready? Stuff's happening here. You can get good reads on teams now. You got two games, 8 quarters. Seen a lot of teams, so I'm starting to get some reads on some people. So it's some interesting games this week. And they're off. Thursday night, Conestoga Valley at Dover, rematch. Those two met in the playoffs last year. District 3-5A, CB won 40-9. Jaden Johnson returned a kick for a touchdown. He's back. He's already got a kick return touchdown, 2 TD runs, and a TD catch. CB's playing great. Number 2 defense in the league. Putting up a lot of crooked numbers. They've been awesome. Dover's 1-1. I'll go Bucks on the road to go 3-0 for the first time in a long time. CV over Dover, the other Thursday night game. Berks Catholic at Bethlehem Catholic. Lehigh Valley road trip for the Saints, coming off a exciting win. They beat Executive Education 22-18. Quarterback Zach Susky, 1-yard TD keeper sneak with 2 seconds left to win and beat Executive Education for Dave Stoller's first win as Berks coach. Tough trip here. Becca's really good. They're like district champ good in District 11. They're tough. They're 1-1. They have a loss. But I'm going to go Hawks here at home. Tricky road tester, but love what Berks did last week. Let's go Becca High over Berks Catholic for pick purposes. Okay, Friday. Jam-packed slate on Friday. Starting off with a 4:15 kick, naturally. Wyomissing at Academy of the New Church in Bryn Athyn, which is like north of Philly. 4:15 kick. Wyo's played 3 games. 1:30, 2 o'clock, and 4:15. Interesting schedule here for the Spartans early on. They're coming off a loss, which I guess it's not just the loss, but that they just really didn't do much. They had 100 yards of offense, no touchdowns, and they lost to Haverford School last week, 20-3. So Wyo looking to bounce back. New Church is 0-1. They're an independent outfit. They're only playing 8 games. Usually pretty decent. Had 8 wins last year, but I'm going Wyo here. I think they snap back. I think they're angry after last week. So let's go Wyo over New Church. Olney out of Philly Pub at Twin Valley. This is a 6 o'clock start. Bumped it up an hour because Olney's coming from Philly, and they're dragging a 14-game losing streak with them. And now they got to play Twin Valley, which is 2-0, averaging 40 points a game. Crooked numbers all over the place. Evan Myers, hot start behind center. Had a game with 4 TD keepers. He's thrown for 200-300 yards. I mean, they've just been really good. Raiders have been as advertised, and now they get a team that's really struggling here. So Raiders stay the course. They've been good, and I like them here. TV over only. Reading at Emmaus, road trip for the Red Knights, coming off good win over Muhlenberg, snapped back, beat the Mules to retain the border, Battle of the Border trophy. So good for the Red Knights. Kason Fritz, the quarterback, was great. Passed for 100, rushed for 100. So he's hot. He's feeling it. Emmaus again, a really good District 11 6A program. Went to District 11 playoffs last year. They get the home game. I have Emmaus circled, but I love the way Reading's going coming off the Muhlenberg game. But for pick purposes, he said Emmaus over Reading. Great game here. Hang a star. Wilson at Nazareth. Oh, Naz is really good. They won District 11 6A last year, went to the state playoffs. They ran into St. Joe's Prep. Peyton Falzone is the quarterback, a junior, already committed to Virginia Tech. And they're 2-0 with crooked numbers all over the place. Good squad. Wilson, 2-0, beat Cheltenham, and then beat Plymouth Whitemarsh last week. Really good rush defense for the Bulldogs. Maddox Gruber's working out just fine behind center, and their defense is carrying the day, just like old times. Hi, Ernie. I have Naz circled. They have these weapons, and they have like 3 blue chip college recruit guys, and they're at home. If they can solve Wilson's D, which has been good, I think Naz can win. Would I be surprised if Wilson wins? Not at all. But for pick purposes, I'll go Blue Eagles over Bulldogs. Great local game here. Ephrata at Garden Spot. I need to pick up the pace. Ephrata 2-0, beat Mannheim Central fair and square last week. Recovered 4 fumbles. Braden Brown punched in a fumble, returned for a touchdown late. Mounts beat the Barons for the first time since 1997. They're off to a great start. They're flying. Garden Spot had that crazy 71-64 game, and then they put 55 points up last week against Lebanon. So number 1 offense in the league. Garden Spot's at like 525 yards a game. They've scored 120 points in 8 quarters. A.J. Hurst has 500 passing yards and 10 touchdowns. Crooked numbers all over the place for Garden Spot. Ephrata beat Garden Spot in districts last year. Tough road trip over to New Holland. I have Ephrata circled. Playing good D, turning people over, finishing some drives, put up 31 on the Barons. Ephrata over Garden Spot. Anvil Cleona at Littlestown. Dutchman, good bounce back last week, put up 48 points in a win over Hanover. They go back to Littlestown where they played last year on that night with all the lightning and the rain. Lost that game, so they have a little payback on their mind. Do not miss Jonathan Shea in your travels this year. He's doing everything for the Dutchman. Anvil over Littlestown. Governor Mifflin at Hemfield, former long-time Section 1 LL rivals back in the day. Hemfield coming off a win. Derek Ketch, the quarterback, had a couple TD runs, had a 70-yard touchdown pass. So Hemfield's feeling it a little bit. Got a little mo coming out of this one. Mifflin, shutout win in week 1. Loss in week 2. I have Hemfield circled at home. I'm taking the hot hand here. Knights over Mustangs. Exeter at Pleasant Valley. PV's 0-2. They got shut out by Governor Mifflin, 35-zip back in week 1. Exeter rolling. Jaden Zandier rushed for 200 last week. 3 touchdowns. All of them were long. 50 yards, 60 yards, 30 yards. Boom. Exeter's been great. And they keep rolling here. Eagles over Bears. Morrisville at Pequay Valley. I told you back in August, don't be surprised that Pequay Valley's 3-0. Well, they're 2-0. Number 1 defense in the league. They've given up minus 48 rushing yards, and they're giving up 36 yards a game. That's it. They've outscored their first 2 foes 84-zip. So Braves are feeling great. We were there this week for the show. Stay tuned for those videos coming up this week. This will be their toughest test here yet. Morrisville is 2-0, playing well. Quarterback is very efficient, and they have a running back who's approaching 500 yards in 2 games, through 2 games already. I know I said 3-0, but I said they might be 3-0. For pick purposes, I have Morrisville circled, but the way PV's going, don't be surprised. Bulldogs over Braves. Mannheim Township at York. Township 2-0. Played great last week against Central York in a big-time, big boy 6A game. Declan Clancy leads the league in rushing, a tick under 400 yards in 2 weeks. York's 0-2, coming off a loss to Hemfield. Blue Streaks. Township over Bearcats. Conrad Weiser at Lebanon. Scouts are playing great. They're 2-0, flying under the radar a smidge. It's non-league, but their defense has been really good, stuffing people. Gingrich's been a great dual threat behind center. They're going for 3-0 for the first time since 2020. Lebanon, 34 games now with the losing streak with a lot of new kids. I'm seeing different names here every week for Lebanon, but the kids are playing. They're out. They're there. They're trying. Baby steps. Scouts over Cedars. Daniel Boone at Muhlenberg. I like this one. Muhlenberg had the great win in week 1, beat Schuylkill Valley. Hung with Reading, but lost in the border trophy game last week. Daniel Boone lost to Schuylkill Valley last week, but did some things. Hayden Moyer passed for 300 yards, and they moved the ball and scored. So might be some points in this one. Rob Flowers, Muhlenberg coach, gets a shot at his old team, Daniel Boone. I have Muhlenberg circled. Mules over Blazers. A good game here, and I will see you in Lampeter on Friday night. Cocalico at LS. Wow. Both teams coming off shutouts last week. LS wins via shutout, 21-0 over Warwick. Cocalico loses via shutout, 21-0 over at New Oxford. That turned some heads a little bit. These two have played forever. They were in Section 4 together the last couple of years. They were in Section 2 together for years. LS defense, really good. Shut down Warwick last week, shut him out. And this Caleb House has been really good at quarterback. I have LS circled. Should be fun. Great atmosphere. I'll catch you in Lampeter on Friday. Pioneers over Eagles. Schuylkill Valley at Fleetwood. Good Berks game. Schuylkill Valley got its offense cranking last week against Boone. Narwaki had a big night. A couple touchdown passes. Spots had a big game. And they got a dub. Fleetwood could be 2-0. They were 1-0 and then lost to Upper Perk last week in a close game. Tristan McFarland's been really good, just getting yards all kinds of different ways. I have the Panthers circled here. I think they start picking up some steam for the Section 5 ride, which starts soon here. Look out. Schuylkill Valley over Fleetwood. Manheim Central at Dallastown. Interesting non-league slate for the Barons. Anxious to see how they snap back here. Tough one with Ephrata last week. The turnovers were bugaboos. And then at other times, Central looked really good. Played D, moved the ball. Lewis had a long touchdown pass to Asher Cook. Central answered, and it's 14-14 in the second half and kind of anybody's game. And then the Barons kind of got some slippery fingers. Ephrata took advantage and won. Dallastown, 2-0. They beat 2 LL teams, Hempfield and Penn Manor. Now they get the Barons. I have Dallastown circled. 6A, a lot of kids, really good passing attack. They're undefeated at home. Central kind of trying to find its way. I promise you they will find it. Maybe they'll find it here. When they do find it, they're going to be a tough out because it's Central. But for now, pick purposes, Wildcats over Barons. Donegal at West York. Donegal beats Columbia last week in the battle for the Rock Trophy game. Rushed for 400 plus, put up 40 plus points. DeAndre White had a big night. Donegal gets in the dub column. West York already beat Elko, and then they beat Red Lions, snapped an 11-game losing streak. Just kind of hearing through the grapevine that they're kind of back. Ron Miller is back as their coach. Had a lot of success with him for years. He's back. Bulldogs are playing really well, and they're at home. Like what Donegal did last week, but I have West York circled. Bulldogs stay hot. West York over Donegal. Elko at Lancaster Catholic. These two were in the same section for years, here and there over the years. Elko 0-2, trying to find it. Catholic 1-1. A lot of crooked numbers. Brandon Way's been really good. Fell behind DeLone last week, 28-0 at the half. Played a spirited second half. Ended up losing 35-28, but got some good experience out of that game. Hegner had a big game. Stefano's been good, and Way is a tick under 300 rushing yards in 2 weeks. Catholic here at home. Raiders still trying to find it. Crusaders over Raiders. York Tech at Columbia. Spartans and tied. Columbia had a better week 2. Scored a couple of times against Donegal. Moved the ball, but they're still giving up a lot of rushing yards, and their offense has kind of been in neutral. Cameron McClare still doesn't have even 100 yards passing in 2 weeks, and he threw for 1,700 yards last year. We'll see if they can get the offense moving this week, maybe go up top a little bit. But I have York Tech circled. They beat Kutztown last week. They got a pretty good rushing attack. Spartans are feeling it. Top of the hill. I got York Tech over Columbia. A couple more. Octorara at Kutztown. Braves had a great week 1 win. Then they fall to Solanco last week. Mules really got their running game going and played great. Colin Wood, quarterback for Octorara. I believe he's a freshman. He's young. He's been really good. His efficiency numbers are fantastic. Completing a good percentage and going up top. So Braves looking to maybe spread it out here a little bit against Kutztown. Fell to York Tech last week. I think they're still trying to figure out with their running backs. Brendan Ackley, 1,000-yard kid last year, only has 7 touches here in the early going. So I have Octorara circled. They played some pretty good D. Kurtz is playing great. And this Wood kid has been really efficient. Octorara over Kutztown. DeLone Catholic at Northern Lebanon, as mentioned. Squires beat Lancaster Catholic last week. Put up 35 points, so their offense has been explosive. Northern Lebanon has played maybe the 2 goofiest games so far. Beat Pine Grove 10-0, lost to Oxford 7-0, and the Vikings only had 60 yards last week. So they're looking to re-pick up the pace after doing some stuff against Pine Grove and Miles Watson at 200 yards rushing that night. I have DeLone circled. Looks like they can score. You put up 35 on Catholic. That's pretty good. I'll take Squires over Vikings. Penn Manor at Solanco. 2nd year in a row, Penn Manor got shut out in its first 2 games. Last year, they got shut out in their first 3 games. They don't want to do that again. Tricky trip. They go to Solanco, as mentioned. Mules. Big night on the ground last week. Johnny Garcia went over 100 yards again. This Burgos Wise kid is good. Putting up numbers, catching, running. So Solanco kind of found it, and they're getting a Penn Manor team here that made a quarterback switch and still kind of trying to find its way, and they got to play a grass game in Coreyville. No walk in the park there. I'll go Mules. Solanco over Penn Manor. Let's see if the Comets can dent the end zone. E-Town at McCaskey. McCaskey, great week 1, beat Bartram. Week 2, Conestoga Valley, kind of hyped that game up a little bit, and CV played great, 55-6. Keep an eye on the backfield quarterback slot for both of these teams. Braden Huber took all the snaps last week for E-Town, passed for 300 yards against Kennett. That may be his job full-time now, and we'll see if Cintron's back under center for McCaskey. He reportedly left the CV game with an injury, I think, in the second half. DeAndre Jones ended up taking snaps. That kid can do everything and anything. I have McCaskey circled. I'll go Tornado Alley home game. This one might be close. Keep an eye on the quarterbacks. Tornado over Bears. Last game, Cedar Crest at Warwick. How about Cedar Crest? I really underestimated them this summer. Wow, they're 2-0 and playing great. Beat Spring Grove 45-7 last week. Isaiah Zimmerman over 100 rushing yards again. They had 2 pick-6 plays. They've just been really good, just flying under the radar here. But Crest is 2-0. They get a Warwick team that's 0-2. In 8 quarters, the Warriors have managed just a field goal. That's it. So they're looking for some touchdowns and some scoring drives. I got Crest circled here. Road game, first road trip of the year for the Falcons, but the way they're going, I can't pick against them now. Cedar Crest over Warwick. Week 3 winners, drum roll. Conestoga Valley, Becca High, YO, Twin Valley, Emmaus, Naz, Ephrata, Annville, Cleona, Hemfield, Exeter, Morrisville, Township, Weiser, Muhlenberg, LS, Schuylkill Valley, Dallastown, West York, Catholic, York Tech, Octorara, DeLone, Solanco, McCaskey, Crest. Week 3, are you ready? Friday night, I will see you for Cocalico at LS, and we'll see if Hamburg gets a game on the fly. Stay tuned. It's the Huddle, the Yellow League Football Podcast, sponsored by Auto House of Lancaster. Thank you very much. Enjoy all the Week 3 coverage. We got the video show, game coverage, helmet stickers over the weekend, stats, notes galore. Stay tuned. For now, enjoy Week 3. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks.